What's up, guys? It's Branden Flash. Today, you're joining me in my F-150 Lightning. We are in Duluth, Minnesota, and we are beginning our journey back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, the truck was ready before we were. We ate Culver's. I took Bethany into Quick Trip for the first time. But yeah, let's get checked in and try to avoid the rain that we drove through on the way here. But we're at the 4-Point Sheraton by Marriott in Schaumburg, which is Chicagoland. My parking job is actually better than I expected it to be, so can't complain too much there. Let's go inside and get checked. See if I can do this one-handed. Always a challenge. Got that. I'm pretty sure this post being kind of broken and not fully attached is actually causing it to cool better because, well, it looks like the Tesla supercharger handle is actually derating. So the vehicle side pin temp has gotten pretty toasty, 65C. We're up to 37%, only doing 101 kilowatts. So the moment that goes below 100 kilowatt, I'm probably going to swap stalls. Let's see if I can do this. That cable is toasty, so is this adapter. We'll see how this goes. It is blazing hot out here. Even this handle is already warm to the touch just from holding it there. Well, we are already under 90 kilowatts, so I'm going to stop charging. I've been pre-cooling this handle for a moment to see if I can help that, I guess. And then I'm going to swap handles to connector A, I guess. We're only at 22%, doing 91 kilowatts, so I'll stop this. I'll activate it on the other one. Let's see if we can do this quick. Wow, it said we went to 1 or 2%. We must have dropped state of charge. I guess we did drop state of charge, so it's a good thing we didn't run out of energy. It seems we were maybe close with the battery calibration being a bit off. Dang, now that is a Cybertruck rig. Look at that thing. What's up, guys? It's Branden Flash. Today you're joining us outside of Chicago, Illinois, in Schaumburg, Illinois, just west of, or like northwest of Chicago. It is 6:48 in the morning, so it is very early, and we have 800 miles to cover to get home back to Charlotte. So without further ado, let me show you the plan quickly, and let's get on the road. So we are at 63%. Let me reset my trip here. So we did 456 miles yesterday. I'll reset that, but grabbed a picture of it. We have 79.37 kilowatt hour in the pack, and our first stop will be at Fair Oaks Farms. I believe that's basically the farthest we can get as far as open superchargers to us, 113 miles and 9% on arrival. After that, we'll figure it out once we get there, but we have to go basically down through Indianapolis, down through Lexington, through Knoxville-ish, through Asheville, and then down to Charlotte. That'll be just over 800 miles. We're going to get home fairly late, but better to do it and get home late than to make it over 2 days for no real reason. So let's get to it. we have arrived to Fair Oaks Farms. We are at 14% state of charge. Let's get activated. We don't want to waste any time. We're on 3D. So start charging, 36 cents a kilowatt hour. Here are our stats. So 111.9 miles, 1.8 mile per kilowatt hour. So pretty good. We have 20.79 kilowatt hour in the pack. Looks like temps are good as well. Get plugged in. We are the only one here. Hopefully this reaches. I thought I pulled far enough forward, but we'll see. Yep, barely. There we go. We're nice and plugged in. Wide open Tesla Supercharger site. And there is a transformer over there that I just saw, so we'll check that out in a minute when we go to the restroom. And just like that, we are charging. Let's see what we ramp up to. So there we go. We should be able to get 500 amps. Over 400 already. So it looks like we'll get up to about 165 and then it should continue to ramp. And then hopefully it settles down at about 120 kilowatts rather than the 90 or so that we were seeing before. Temperatures are pretty reasonable, 74 degrees. It is 8:26 in the morning, but we are still in Central Time. We're gonna cross into Eastern Time pretty much right after we leave here. There we go, almost 170 kilowatts. So hopefully that stays nice and fast. And then we'll get back on the road. Here are the new version 4 posts. Another 12 stalls here. And like I said, there is a transformer on site now, unlike when we were here about a week ago when there was not a transformer on site. So it looks like there should be power here soon. So this energizer, or this transformer sounds energized. Yeah, it's buzzing. We've got power here, so looks like it's just a matter of time until Tesla energizes this, and then there will be 325 kilowatt charging, at least for Cybertrucks, because those are not real version 4 posts, but they are version 3.5. I don't know. Let's get to the restroom, get back on the road. Back to the car at 45%. Looks like it's dipping a little bit. We're down to 121 kilowatts. Pin temps at 61C and pack is at 39C, but otherwise doing pretty well and still holding over 120 kilowatts, so nothing to complain about. We're probably going to charge to 80% unless it starts dipping dramatically, in which case we'll stop at Lebanon instead of continuing on to Columbus, Indiana, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it and then go from there. Well, a few other Teslas have shown up. Bethany is out wandering around, stretching her legs. We're at 66%, still doing 111 kilowatts. So let's look at the plan. I just kind of sorted it out here. So we'll go into a better route planner. So when we leave with 80%, we're going to charge again to 80%. We'll leave about 907 is what it's saying for 80% charge. So we'll go to Columbus, Indiana. That's 167 miles away. We'll charge there to, again, about 80%. That's kind of the magic number in the Lightning. And then we will charge, there. We'll go 170 miles to Richmond, Kentucky. We'll charge at the Mercedes ChargePoint units there. We'll drive 160 miles. We'll charge at the Kodak Bucky's, also Mercedes chargers, charged to 87%. That might actually be a little unnecessary, but we'll see as we get a little closer. But we've got 3 more stops after this for 716 miles, about 12 hours. Looks like we'll get home around 10:30 or so. I do need to punch in my actual address, but that should be relatively indicative. And should be a fairly easy day if weather and everything cooperates. Couple longer stops. Maybe we'll grab some food at this Columbus stop, not entirely sure. But yeah, just gonna let it charge another 12%. Still doing over 110 kilowatts. According to the Ford app, we are getting, 116 kilowatts. Disregard the energy added. That seems to always lie, but we've been charging for 31 minutes. Let's go into the Tesla app. Let's see what that says. So we've added 72.5 kilowatt hour in 32 minutes, so not bad at all, $26. And then, yeah, again, 80%. So looks like about a 4 kilowatt difference between what's going into the battery and what is going into the port, which is not at all unusual. 80% charge, 106.6 kilowatt hour in the pack. Stop our screen recording and let's unplug and get on the road. Shut the flap. See if I can do this one-handed. Always a challenge. Got that. I'm pretty sure this post being kind of broken and not fully attached is actually causing it to cool better, because normally all the heat's just trapped in the bottom of the supercharger post, which is probably not that effective. So let's get on the road. Looks like 2 hours, 13 minutes. We're projecting 10% arrival. There's another lightning pulling in right there. Let's get on the road. Well, 42 miles in, we decided to grab some Starbucks in Battleground, I think is the name of this place. Is that right? Okay, so we're grabbing some Starbucks and then getting back on the road. Apple Maps being Apple Maps decided it wanted to add a charging stop, which we will promptly remove as soon as we are done with the stop. But yeah, we're at 63% after 42 miles driven with 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour. So efficiency is about what I'd expect. Fairly low traffic, decent speed, so not exactly prime for efficiency.
Oh, I see it. You'll get. Oh, yeah, you get 2 for it.
Thank you. It's really strange. They show video of the person helping you at Starbucks now. At least at this store. Maybe that's a new thing. Seems unnecessary to me. But I guess they're trying to push for personal connection. Same with how they're writing on all the cups.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see what our message is on these cups.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. Lately, it's just been a smiley face.
No.
But she seems more personable, so maybe there's more.
Oh, I thought that was a guy.
I didn't see them, so I don't know.
Okay.
When I looked at the camera, all that was there was like
A blur.
the wall.
No.
There
Yeah.
was no human.
Also why the camera's kind of pointless. Like, they're not going to be looking at the cameras. That'd be weird.
This is for Brandon.
Yeah.
The white bubble for you.
Thank you.
And then here's the ice.
Thank you.
You are, and then there's the shower bag, okay?
Thank you very much.
Same.
You too.
Yeah.
Bethany could not believe it. I got a hot drink and she got an iced drink because I wanted a peppermint mocha. So I got a white chocolate mocha and then added peppermint, and I'm probably gonna wait like an hour to drink this because it's too hot.
This is where opportunity meets chance.
We have made it to the, what is the name of this place? Something Supercharger, let me pull it up. We are at 8% state of charge. We've driven 159.4 miles, which is a decent amount of miles. 1.7 miles per kilowatt hour, lots of wind. We have 13.56 kilowatt hour in the pack. Let's get this pulled up. We're in Columbus, Indiana. We're on 1A. If this wants to load, we have pretty poor cell service on AT&T here. Maybe. There are 3 Teslas charging, I believe. Another one just pulled up. So 36 cents a kilowatt hour. They looked confused. But I'm not blocking anyone from charging. This is not going quickly. The joys of cell service. 1A. There we go. Activate. All right, we are activated. Let's get plugged in. It is much toastier than it's been at the previous stops here. It's probably about 90 degrees, so we'll see how this charging session goes. I do have the adapter chilled from in my little fridge. This is the A to Z adapter, which seems to have the best thermal performance as far as I can tell. This is a pretty interesting install because it's 2 of the prefabricated supercharger units basically back to back, literally touching there in the middle, so as close together as they can possibly get. There are 3 Model 3s and Model Y charging. We should be charging by now. Let's see how we're ramping up. So 75, 90. It's already cooling, which is good. 145, 154, 62. Looks like that's about what we'll get at 8%, or I guess 9% now. So let's see how it holds, hopefully pretty well. And we're gonna charge up to 80%, go explore this beautiful gas station. Well, it looks like the Tesla supercharger handle is actually derating. That's coming from the charger itself, so the maximum current offered is being reduced. So that's not great. We'll see how this holds. Yeah, it looks like the vehicle side is reducing as well, but that makes sense at least. Down to 146, so I'll keep an eye on it. Pin temps on the vehicle side are actually doing fairly well still, but apparently not on the charger handle side. So 26%, still doing 142, not terrible. And even more interestingly, it seems to have come back up to 500 amps. So not really sure why it would have dipped down and then come back up. Usually that's indicative of it getting too hot and derating. We're still doing 125 kilowatts, so hopefully that holds until 80%. But otherwise, I have another adapter that's chilled, and I can swap stalls if needed. So the vehicle side pin temp has gotten pretty toasty, 65C. We're up to 37%, only doing 101 kilowatts. So the moment that goes below 100 kilowatt, I'm probably going to swap stalls. Looks like we're just about there. And then I'll reactivate. I'll also use a new cooled adapter, so that way hopefully we kind of start fresh on pin temps. We'll probably even get another boost if I had to guess, so that will be good. Yeah, just about under 100 kilowatts. And then I'll have this ready loaded so I can activate it again, and then we'll be on 1B. So let's just let this keep going. Again, 65C, I've got the Ford Electron adapter kind of queued up, ready to go. Unfortunately, I can't hit charge here while I have a charging session going in the Tesla app. If I was using plug-in charge, I could. So it just went under 100 kilowatts. I'm going to stop it, move stalls. Let's see if I can do this. That cable is toasty. So is this adapter. Let's move over. Stalls 1. Gotta turn the truck on, of course. I'll get that charging port ajar, I know. Hopefully the app loads in time. Yep, I've already got the charge here ready to go. So let's just do this while I'm pulling in. Just like that. Pull up as close as I can. 1B, park. Parking brake so it doesn't roll since this is a hill. Got my other adapter ready to go. Got that one back into the freezer. So let's do this. Try this again. The port or the charge is already activated. Apparently the parking brake did not go on. For this one, you have to put the handle onto the adapter first. Got some twist in there. Let's see what we get doing unplug. We're initializing. Pin temps are coming down from the cold adapter. So that's all the way back up, 176. So things are looking better already. 63, so yeah, we're already over 110 kilowatts. Let's see if we get a full boost here. 122. So it looks like we're settling in about 120 kilowatts, so that's definitely an improvement of about 20 kilowatt. Nothing to complain about. Hopefully that holds that pretty steady. And looks like now that the pin temp came down a bit, we're actually in the 135. So definitely a awesome improvement. We're up 35 kilowatts from where we were. So that will shave quite a bit of charging time. Let's see what it'll say for 80% max. Save. So it's 12:44 right now. So it looks like about 23 minutes or so to get to 80% from 41%, which is much better. Well, we're down to 88 kilowatts. The pin temps are at 68 degrees. I think we're gonna do another swap-a-roo of the adapter. Let's see here. Maybe I should do this. Tesla says the wet towel trick doesn't do anything. I would beg to differ, but we shall see. So let's remove this. So we pulled that one off. We'll put this one on instead, but I need to activate it first. So that way I don't use plug-in charge, which I think I have off anyway. But at least the Tesla app lets you activate another charger pretty quick, unlike some charging networks. At least assuming cell service cooperates. We're on 1B. And there are no session fees or anything, so there's not really a penalty to doing this other than the time. So, there we go, plug back in. We'll let that ramp up. And pin temps are down a bit and we're back up to 110 kilowatts. So gained about 20 kilowatt there, which would make a pretty substantial difference going to 80%. And since I know someone will comment, you don't have to do this. I'm just optimizing more than most people would because I'm trying to save every minute we can. So 113.66 kilowatt, that is definitely better than before. And then again, down to 63. And we had a max of 68. So it's actually still coming down even as we're applying power, which is awesome to see. So I think that'll be the last swap before we get to 80%, which should be in about 11 minutes or so. Well, we're just about at 80%. It's just now coming down to about 100 kilowatts, but it was holding about 112 or so even with the higher pin temps. We did cross 59,000 miles on this leg, which is pretty exciting. We're not going to get to 60,000 on this trip, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I don't really know. But pretty soon we'll be at 60,000 miles on this Lightning. I'll have to do a video showing the full condition of the vehicle, but this should be dropping down to about 57 kilowatts very soon once it hits 80%, which it just did. There we go, dropping down. And then once it completes at 80%, then we will get on the road. Looks like we're just about there, and it'll probably tick over to 200 miles of range as it does that, if I had to guess. So just about ready to go. We'll unplug and then we'll get on the road. We've got about 3 hours of driving until we get to the Richmond, Kentucky Buc-ee's. And there we go, 200 miles, 80%. There's our stats so far today, 271.3 miles. And just over 2,500 miles that we've driven on the overall trip. We have 107 kilowatt hour in the pack. Let's get CarPlay loaded. There we go. See if this one still loads. We're all the way here, and then we're dipping through Louisville and then coming down to here in Richmond, Kentucky. So decent while. It's about 170 miles. There we go. It wants stops, and there we go. We want the one without stops. So 3 hours for 170 miles. Let's get to it. Well, we have arrived to the Richmond, Kentucky Buc-ee's. That rhymes, I guess. We're at 7%. We drove 167.6 miles, 12.39 kilowatt hour in the pack, and battery is cooled down. I did run it in sport mode for part of the drive, so that helps cool it down a bit. Let me activate the charger. I'm gonna use port B. Start charge. I just did that on the ChargePoint app. Hit yes. Yep, we've got flashing lights there. Let's get plugged in. Switch to ultra wide. We'll see how this goes. It is blazing hot out here. Even this handle is already warm to the touch just from holding it there. Very hard to see these screens. Waiting for EV. Good. We're communicating. We've got voltage on the line. Doing its handshake. All that fun stuff. We are ramping up. Let's see what it does. The grid limited, I found out, is just due to load management being on the site as a whole. And look at that, we're doing a little over 500 amps, actually 171 kilowatt. So, as good as it gets there, we're gonna charge up. Let's go to the curve. Yeah, you can see the available power is significantly above the request, but that's a normal ramp. So, just like that. Probably going to grab some dinner. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. And then we'll hit the road, and then we've got one more Buc-ee's, one more stop. And the one more stop is the Buc-ee's, and then we'll be home. Well, we are already under 90 kilowatts, so I'm going to stop charging. I've been pre-cooling this handle for a moment to see if I can help that, I guess. And then I'm going to swap handles to connector A, I guess. We're only at 22% doing 91 kilowatts, so I'll stop this. I'll activate it on the other one. Let's see if we can do this quick. So put that one back. And then we'll plug this one in. See if that helps pin temperatures at all. So we went from 62, still at 62. I'm just activating the other charger. If it wants to let me on the ChargePoint app. Pin temperatures are going down. The ChargePoint app is just not fully cooperating here, which is not entirely a surprise. I just use my virtual card, actually. Forgot about that function. These cables are just roasting hot even in the sun, or like even not being used. Authorizing, that's going real slow. Let's see if we get anything going. We're down to 58C pin temp. Looks like we are communicating now. So we should have power flow in there in just a moment. There we go. So we're already higher than we were. So I think it might be time to go into Buc-ee's, let it charge up. We do need to charge all the way to 80%. I don't know exactly how many miles we have to go to get to the next Buc-ee's, but I believe it's about 180 or so. Let's see. Yes, already doing much better, and the pin temps came down. So let's see, 2 hours, 16 minutes. Looks like 170 miles. So yeah, 80% again. Let's set the charge limit over here. Not in there. Why is it in valet mode? Exit valet mode. Interesting. Set one-time charge limit. 80. So it looks like about 33 minutes. I am going to set this higher just in case we're in Buc-ee's longer. And we do have some elevation to climb, so it doesn't hurt if we get a little bit more than we need. But there we go, 25%, 123 kilowatts. Hopefully it stays at least over 110. That's what I'm hoping for. Well, we're charged up, 80%, 105 kilowatt hour in the pack. We have, let's see, 160 miles to the Kodak Buc-ee's, 8% on arrival. So let's unplug and get on the road.
go one step closer to bed before the midnight hour, and I'm just waiting for a faded lift ride home. One step closer to bed before the midnight hour, and I'm just waiting to do it all over. Don't keep sailing away into the edge of time. Wake up to find it all slipping away. In the dark, in the rain, I was breaking down. Don't keep sailing away into the edge of time. Wake up to find it all slipping away. In the dark, in the rain, I was breaking down.
Well, we made it to the Kodak, Tennessee, Sevierville, whatever, Buc-ee's. We did 158.3 miles in 2 hours, 9 minutes. We're at 3% state of charge, which is perfect. We're at the Alpitronic hyperchargers. There's another Lightning, a Blazer EV, and a Mach-E. Let me get activated here, pull up the ChargePoint app. And there are some stats there as well while I do that. So here are also the stats from the full drive today so far. So just shy of 600 miles, and this should be our last stop. So I'm activating the charger, port B. So we're at 7.8. And that should go to authorized in just a moment. of my charge port. There you can see the flashing light. And Mercedes did overhaul their experience here, so I'll show you that in just a moment. But we should be good to plug in. Pull the arm out slightly since we're a little bit farther away. Just like that, we're plugged in. So here you can see they totally overhauled the user experience. We're already starting. That Mach-E alarm is going off for some reason, not sure why. Taking a moment here. There we go. So we are ramping up. Wow, it said we went to 1 or 2%. We must have dropped state of charge. I guess we did drop state of charge, so it's a good thing we didn't run out of energy. It seems we were maybe close with the battery calibration being a bit off. And there we go, 167 kilowatts. And we're gonna let it charge all the way up to 80%. And it's actually nice and cool out. And then as I said, let me show you the new interface a little bit. So we'll go to instructions, that's where you'll see some of the changes. So there you can see plug and charge, your preferred app, just like that. So nice and simple. And then if you were to hit that, then you could activate that and it would prompt on the payment terminal. You can see there, start with your credit card or debit card. And we can hear the charger is full rip on the 4 power units that are engaged to charge at nearly 200 kilowatts. And that should keep ramping up. Let's see how our pin temps are doing. So pin temps are actually very reasonable. So I think we're going to get pretty good sustained power. These cables are actually passively cooled. So they don't have any liquid or anything in them. They're just cooled by virtue of being in the air. What a beautiful evening. I cleaned off the windshield on the truck. Going to wander down to the Tesla superchargers, check out how busy those are. We're at like 85% state of charge. Let me just show you guys that, and then we'll walk down to the Tesla supercharger and see what that's looking like. Going to charge to about 90%. That way, I think we can avoid having to stop again on our way, even though it is slow to charge above 80%. So here we have the charging curve. So 108 kilowatt average. We peaked at 175, and we've been here for just over an hour. So not too bad at all. It is kind of funny that they have the liquid fueling fill-up spots between the Tesla chargers and the Mercedes chargers. So a little bit odd in that regard. Dang, now that is a Cybertruck rig. Look at that thing. They've got some sort of like camper thing going on here. Cyber TX from Minnesota. Dang. They've come a long way. That's pretty sweet. So they've got a tablet mounted on the dash too. And it's starting to rain. What the heck? Dang, that is a built up, beefy camper thing. Wow. So they have, looks like 20 Tesla supercharger stalls here. Sorry, I was just getting some photos of that. That is one heck of a rig. And there are 3 people charging, so. Oh, it looks like they polished the front bumper as well to make it a mirror. Look at that. But not the rest of it. Pretty darn cool, actually, I must say. So we'll wander back. Looks like we're just about done charging. We're at 89%. We've added 118 kilowatt hour. We're at 117 kilowatt hour in the battery, so we were almost dead. There's of course losses there as well. We're not at 89.5 yet, so a little bit more to go before we get to actually 90 proper. We're still doing 37.55 kilowatt hour, or sorry, per 37.55 kilowatt. I'm gonna see what Apple Maps thinks as far as arrival, state of charge, as well as a better route planner before we stop. Well, it looks like we just finished charging at 90%, 215 miles of estimated range. We have 216 miles to go home. 3 hours, 37 minutes. Looks like we'll get there just after midnight or so. So let's get unplugged. Let's get on the road. We've got a lot of miles to cover, and I want to get home. Bollard gets in the way a little bit. There we go. Put that back. Let's see our final charge curve. So we went from 1 to 90%. Just like that. And this is why you don't normally charge past 80%, because it drops off like a cliff. So let's get on the road. There's our... and get some miles down. Clean windshield for you guys. And let's get on the road. 118 kilowatt hour in the battery, which is actually not that much higher than it was showing previously at 80%, so that's weird. But turn off the screen recording. And there we go, 597 miles, and we're going to cross 3,000 miles by the time we get home. Let's do it. Well, the car is showing 204 miles estimated range. There are 209 miles to go at 86%. And the truck and Apple Maps really don't think we're going to make it, but there are a lot of charging options along the way if we get close and low. But based on how Apple Maps seems to work, I think it'll be fine, because it almost always, and there I have to almost miss my turn. Oops. But Apple Maps always seems to like to estimate on the high side for, estimate usage more than actual. Well, we have made it home. 3,087 miles total driven since I last was in this driveway. 811.8 miles today, which is my new record for this vehicle. And 214.4 miles on this leg. Just shy of 4 hours, 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour. And we have 16.87 kilowatt hour left in the pack. We're just shy of 59,600 miles on the odometer. Temperatures, of course, looking normal. And it is just past midnight, like 12:30. I am exhausted. I'm sure you are exhausted as well. But we made it home. What did you think of the Lightning road trip compared to the previous Tesla road trip we did 2 years ago?
Definitely more spacious. Nice to have the room.
What about charging, range, all that?
Not significant difference, I guess. Well, I guess we did it in your 4680, so I guess maybe charging was significantly different, but
yeah,
didn't feel that significantly different.
We had a lot of stops in that car that were, all of them were basically as long as the stops in this, but with a lot less distance between them. So that one we were doing like 35, 40-minute stops, but only going 100, 150 miles, whereas this, we're going 40-ish minute stops, but going 180, 200 miles or so, which is much better. So overall, I'm very pleased. Very glad I had the comma. I think that is a game changer for this. I hate that term, but it's much better than Blue Cruise. Blue Cruise would have driven me nuts, mostly with just how naggy it is if you do literally anything other than stare straight ahead. I wish the charging performance had been a bit better. I don't think that was the truck necessarily. It seemed like it was just really hot out. The chargers didn't have adequate cooling and things were getting hot and causing derates. But at least the fail-safe, if you will, on these is that they'll just charge at 90 kilowatts basically regardless. So if it's going to kind of default or derate to a set amount, 90 kilowatts is not the worst derate. But the charging strategy in this is definitely charge to 80%, run it as low as you can, but if you want to pull in earlier, you're not really penalized for it, which is nice. And overall, really comfortable. Definitely would road trip again. Preferably would do it in a little bit cooler temps. I think that would make a big difference. Like if it was in the 70s instead of in the 80s, 90s, I think that would make a big difference in the charging capability. Basically what we saw this morning in Fair Oaks is that it charged great there when it was just a little bit cooler. So it seems like that 10, 15, 20 degrees makes that big difference. But we'd love to hear what you guys think. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and comment down below.